Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. It's Paulie, Esther here, and I have some great news on the accessibility front of Dead by Daylight, specifically for those of you who experience some type of color blindness and have difficulty in playing the game. Dead by Daylight is looking to remedy that. This came out on the Around the Campfire stream that they had today. I personally didn't watch it because I had some other stuff to do, and typically when they do the Around the Campfire stream on Thursdays, it's just the devs playing with one another, and there aren't a lot of newsy bits that come out of that. It's just so you can get to know the devs. But today there was some news. Thankfully, they clipped out the pertinent bit and put it up on Twitter for me to share with you. So I'm going to take you to their Twitter account and we will play the clip and listen to it together. So here it is, a brief statement on colorblind accessibility. Here we go.
This is a work in progress of the work we're doing right now for colorblind mode. So, we hope that. No, it's okay. It's fine. It's something that a lot of people wanted for a long time. We hope this really is a first step in making our game more accessible to a larger group of players. And we're hoping to have these modes released in the next chapter update. But we can't officially commit to a full date right now, but we're hoping to have this released for the next chapter update. So not the mid-chapter that's coming, but the big update after that. This is
okay, so I'm going to turn off the sound, and I'm just going to let that loop and play the images here. So yeah, this is something that has been requested for a very long time. Years and years, I have seen this question brought up, asked and answered many, many times. I'm not going to dig through the archives to show you where they've answered this question. I'm just going to basically paraphrase this, why this has taken so long, because it is something that has been in demand for a very long time. Why did it take so long? Basically, the most spot-on interview answer that I heard from Matthew Cote, quote from Matthew Cote, the most spot-on quote from an interview with Matthew Cote about this is that they needed to be very careful when implementing a colorblind mode so that they didn't inadvertently give an advantage to typically sighted players. So just to explain what that means is that Dead by Daylight's fear was if they were to introduce some colorblind settings, that it would make it easier for killers to track scratch marks if you were typically sighted and you turned on one of these colorblind modes. So they were very afraid that they would make the game easier for killers and everybody would just put the colorblind mode as default. So instead of just helping people who needed accessibility, they would wind up changing the game in a dramatic way where you were like a sucker as a killer if you didn't turn on colorblind mode, because that's the best way to play, if that makes sense. So they have been very careful, methodical. You can say, wow, this has taken too long. Chapter 19, so that looks like that'll come out probably in March, I'm guessing. They're hoping to hit it on that date, and they've given us this reveal of what these different colorblind modes would look like. I apologize, I am very ignorant about the different types of colorblindness. I don't know how to pronounce these words. Default, no, just kidding. Deuteranope, Protanope, and Tritanopia. Those are the three different kinds of color blindness, most common, I'm assuming. I did even have a person, and I forwarded this suggestion to the devs, that they said that they had a white color blindness, which I didn't even know that was a thing, and they had requested if there would be an accessibility option for players to change the color of the skill checks, because they had a difficult time seeing that white skill check wheel on the screen. So I'm glad to see that Dead by Daylight is taking this seriously and making steps towards this. And I've seen some comments from this, just people looking at these images who do have color blindness, and they say that it stands out like night and day to them, the difference between default and their type of color blindness on these. So it looks like Dead by Daylight is on the right track towards getting this right and bringing that accessibility. And hey, we obviously want the player base to grow. So if this is something that has been holding people back from playing Dead by Daylight because they just can't play the game with their colorblindness, this is an amazing thing. One of the best players that I know in the world from the tournament scene, one of the best killers I have ever seen, they are colorblind and they have to use an NVIDIA filter to play the game just to follow Scratchmarks because they can't do it. So to have this as a default for somebody who doesn't have an NVIDIA graphics card who can make those changes, to just have it built into the game, chef kiss. So this is a great news. Oh, there's more down here. It says, we will be addressing colorblindness concerns with the new HUD by the mid-chapter release. Oh, I didn't know that some people had said that the new HUD was going to bring further colorblindness concerns. I didn't know that. For further colorblind support, we're aiming for the next chapter release date to be determined. Again, I think it's probably chapter 19 is in March. Hopefully they'll have this done in time. These are our first steps towards making Dead by Daylight more accessible to our players. And it says, in recent months, we have been hard at work bringing colorblind modes to Dead by Daylight. While these are not the circumstances we would like to have announced this, we feel the time is right. Okay, so this all stems from a dev stream's comments and people upset with the way that the dev talked about the colorblindness. Let's go ahead and review it. We might as well talk about the elephant in the room. Give me a second. Okay, so this is a clip of one of the personal Twitch streams of a dev playing the game on his own time and being asked questions about the game while playing. And colorblind mode was referenced here, and people were upset at his response. So we had this initial tweet that says, have you heard about what one of the major Dead by Daylight devs recently said towards the colorblind player base? They've been ignoring their disabled player base for years. They're making things even worse next update. And one of their devs had this to say about it. And then there's the clip. And then someone else retweeted it and said, it makes me sad to hear this coming from a developer who is, quote unquote, getting bored of people, quote unquote, blabbing about colorblind mode. But Dead by Daylight, if you're tired of, quote unquote, being badgered about it, imagine how tired people are of not being able to play your game because it's inaccessible to them. That's a fair point. Okay, so I'm going to play the clip here for you. Get my headphones on so I can hear it.
All right, JC, it's getting really boring just blabbing about colorblind mode all the time. We've heard it a million times. We know. Continuing to badger us about it isn't going to change anything. If it gets done, it'll get done when we have time to do it, or if somebody decides that it's something that should be done. We know that a lot of players want it. We know it's not a small number. We get it. All right.
Okay, so that's the clip there, and then Dead by Daylight, their Twitter account had some reactions to that themselves, in which they said, thank you for bringing this to our attention. This is not indicative of the views of the team, and we deeply apologize for any frustration or harm this may have caused. This is not how we wanted to reveal this, but we feel it's the right time. We've been working on a colorblind mode for some time now, and we are planning on a release shortly. We want to make sure this is done the right way. So while we're hoping to get this into the next major release, we are unable to commit on the release date just yet. And then I think they go on to show those images. Yeah, okay, here we go. Scratchmarks, work in progress, and Aura, work in progress. And then I guess they took this and they felt strongly enough about it to integrate it into that around the campfire stream with the devs. Now, there were different reactions to what Ethan had to say. Some people thought that it was disrespectful. Some people thought that it was harsh or callous. To some degree, I think it is a little off-putting. I would agree. But I can't speak for the man. There's a lot of context missing here when he talks about this person, specifically JC. We don't know if it's one of these situations where, like, if you see any of the Dead by Daylight tweets where somebody comes in and goes, every time they tweet, that they're saying add tree from Happy Death Day to Dead by Daylight. We don't know if, like, every time Ethan's streaming, this JC person comes in and says day 43 reminding you we don't have colorblind mode in DBD. We have no idea the context of this. And I will just say that I think it's very difficult for a dev to stream this game because not everybody who's coming in is your friend. A lot of people come in to hurt you, attack you, say negative things about you and the game. And yeah, I mean, everybody's only human. I personally myself have shared my previous rage issues with all of you on stream and how I went to therapy for that. And just because I have therapy doesn't mean I'm perfect. There are all times that I can fly off the handle and I can have my own missteps and say things that I regret. So I would just say, just take it all in that context and maybe forgive that transgression if it is something that upsets you. I think he's just saying it matter-of-factly, like he's not in a position where he can share this stuff with you. That's the thing, is the devs are so far in advance on what we have seen. They always have to be on guard to make sure they don't talk about stuff they're not supposed to talk about yet. And this isn't something they cooked up since Ethan made that statement. This is something that's been in the works for a long time. And Ethan would know that, but he can't say that. So if somebody's coming in and asking him about colorblind mode constantly, he can't say anything because, like I said, that what if this colorblind mode, they found out it does give a game advantage unintentionally, and they have to scrap the whole idea. So if Ethan even says, hey guys, we're working on colorblind mode, and then they go, this isn't working, we can't do it, and then they have to scrap it, and then they say, you promised us colorblind mode. And so that's why they have to keep all this stuff guarded until it's ready, and they know that it's ready to release. So he can't come out and say, we're doing colorblind mode, don't worry. He has to keep it in. He has to hold it in. So that's got to be difficult too, knowing the secrets, knowing the things that are coming up, and people are constantly asking you, and you got to be on guard, make sure you don't slip up, and you don't want to talk about these subjects because you can't give you any information. So, I'm willing to give Ethan the benefit of the doubt on that. I don't know the man. I can't speak for the man. But as somebody who is looked to a lot of the times to answer the same questions over and over again as Fog Whisperer, I've had people say to me who stuck with me for entire streams, how do you do it? Like answering the same question over and over again. And sometimes it does get hard. So, like I said, we're all only human. And I don't think he really said anything disrespectful to colorblind players. It's just like, it's going to happen when it's going to happen. We know people want it. That's basically what it boiled down to for me. And just people saying, we need colorblind mode to him over and over and over again isn't going to make it happen. That's basically what I took from his words. So I'm willing to give him a pass on this. I know there's a lot of hate for Elmo out there in certain corners of the community. So I think the people who already don't like him is just going to add one log to the fire on this, no matter what anybody says. So, but you make up your own mind what you think of it. I'm not going to tell you what to think. I'm never going to make up your mind for you. And so streamer says this, you make up your own mind what you think about it. But at the end of the day, the good news here is that they are working on colorblind mode. And as I said, I have seen this requested so many times, and anything that can help grow the game and the color player base and help out colorblind players is a net positive for me. So that's all I have for you today. At the end of the day, accessibility and inclusiveness wins, and that's all that really matters. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Take care of each other in and out of the fog, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.